In 1933, in London's Clerkenwell, the Marx Memorial Library is the leading research and education centre on Marxism and socialist history. There's never quite like the Marx Memorial Library. Our three-storey historic building is packed full of artefacts, artworks, archives and books dating back to the 1640s to the present day on subjects including trade unionism, the history of socialism, internationalism and the peace movement too. And what we do is get these histories, these stories out to the trade union movement today and to new generations who want to learn about how past struggles shape today's world and how we can struggle to make today's world a better place today. And Noreen and Clive Branson, we owe an enormous debt to the Bransons. Without them, there's no doubt we wouldn't be here today. When the Marx Commemoration Committee met in 1933, 50 years after the death of Karl Marx, fascism was on the march in Europe. News of the burning of the books in Nazi Germany was coming over, and it was felt by the committee that a library that would preserve socialist literature and the history of struggle in this country and internationally to serve the working class movement today would be a fitting memorial to Karl Marx. Clive and Noreen immediately grasped both the urgency and the historical importance of this task. With enormous foresight, they immediately established a fund under the auspices of the Labour Research Department to raise money for a permanent home for our library. And then, indeed, they made an enormous contribution themselves to secure the purchase of 37A Clerkenwell Green, today Marx House. And what a phenomenal home for us it's been. Situated on Clerkenwell Green, just where the annual May Day demonstration gathers every year, and a building with the office where Lenin worked when he was in exile in London from 1902 to 3. There could be no more fitting space for our wonderful library. That act of vision in 1933 laid the foundations for decades of work. Noreen remained deeply involved in the library and she served as vice president until her death in 2003. The lives of both Noreen and Clive, through their archives stored in our library, continue to inspire trade unionists, campaignists and communists today. Clive's sketches and artworks complement our internationally significant collection on the Spanish Civil War, and publications he brought back from India document horrific scenes of the Bengal famine, remain a powerful testimony of the horrors of empire. Noreen's own archive, which she accumulated writing the history of the Communist Party, indeed is the cornerstone of a couple of outreach events we've got coming up just this next month on the struggle for better housing and radical women in Clerkenwell as well. So there's still active tools every day. And of course, Rosa Branson's phenomenal painting, inspired by the Spanish Civil War, hangs in pride of place in our main hall in our event space. So as the Marx Memorial Library looks ahead towards our centenary in 2033, the legacy of Noreen and Clive looms very large. Their foresight, their commitment and their belief in the importance of preserving Marxism as a living doctrine and socialist history as a toolkit for our movement remains at the heart of what we do today. In 1993, as Vice President, Noreen delivered the library's 60th anniversary lecture titled Books Against Barbarism. She reflected on the 1930s, observing that despite the gigantic changes which have come about since the 1930s, many of the fundamental flaws in society which existed then are still with us. And she listed 4: the divide between rich and poor, mass unemployment, racism and war. These observations continue to resonate with us today in 2026, and they remind us why institutions like the Marx Memorial Library still matter, why preserving these histories, these ideas and interpreting them today remains essential for the working class movement this next century. Thank you very much.